Never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. To come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards. You're
I'm
playing cards.
serious.
You're gambling with the
president
lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
What you just watched might be one of the most disgusting displays of behavior that Donald Trump has ever shown, and that is saying something. That was Trump and J.D. Vance viciously attacking and lecturing a leader whose country is under active invasion by one of America's enemies, Russia. Put simply, it was Trump and Vance siding with a dictator over democracy. They're siding with a genocidal maniac who is bombing innocent women and children in their own homes, while Trump sits back and attacks Zelensky for having, quote, hatred for Putin, which I wonder why. This might be one of the most embarrassing moments for America and its reputation around the world in modern history. It is an absolute disgrace and betrayal of what our country at least purports to stand for. And let's be absolutely clear, this is for an audience of one. The dictator sitting in the Kremlin smirking and laughing as America betrays its reputation, its allies, its values, and its future. All of this because of, what? Egg prices or something. And let's be very clear, watching J.D. Vance, who has contributed nothing of value in his entire life, whose only notable achievement in the career that he's had is flip-flopping on his own disdain for Trump, only to become one of his greatest lackeys, lecture and sneer at a heroic leader who successfully withstood an invasion of his country for years by an invading army much bigger than his own. It doesn't get more disgraceful than that. It is beyond the pale, and every single American should be disgusted by what they just saw. One person who was especially disgusted, the Ukrainian ambassador, having her head in her hands. And just for good measure, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend intervening to ask the really important questions as Putin bombs children.
My second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such.
Office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe
something like yours. Yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than Yeah. Thank you.
Ah, yeah, don't mind the indiscriminate death and ruin inflicted on Ukraine. Let's ask the guy who's visibly aged a decade in just a few years about the suits he's wearing. Great stuff. And in case there was any question about who this entire exchange was for, Russian state media was in the Oval Office during this exchange, but you know who was conspicuously absent? American media outlets like the AP. Tells you everything you need to know. After the exchange, Trump released the following statement. "We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without the conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespects the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace." And that led to an outright cancellation of the peace talks.
The press conference between President Zelensky and President Trump has officially been canceled. Again, that press conference was set to take place about 20 minutes ago. We watched what happened in the Oval Office, and everything sort of flew off the rails from there.
This is a catastrophe for Ukraine and for what has been an American-Ukrainian alliance in pushing back on what Russia has attempted here. Let's bring Nick Payton-Walsh back in to talk a little bit about it. Nick, a whole day planned here, and we should just be clear, this day planned with Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House came after trips by the UK Prime Minister, the French Prime Minister, coming here to America to shower President Trump with praise, trying to get him to get in line with them when it came to supporting Ukraine. He appeared to be there as much as he could be yesterday, and this is ending today in a debacle, however you want to call it. Volodymyr Zelensky leaving early or getting kicked out early. This is a debacle.
Again, this is an outright shame and international embarrassment. And the ultimate irony, as Adam Kinzinger put it, if Russia ceases combat operations, the war is over. If Ukraine ceases combat operations, Ukraine is over. No one reasonable disagrees with the need for peace. The question is how that peace is achieved and the terms of that peace. Putin does not want some small sliver of Ukraine. He wants to wipe Ukraine off the map entirely. He wants to rebuild the Russian Empire. He wants to come for the Baltic states and for Poland as well. He wants to upend the current world order and take as much of Europe as he possibly can. Trump either does not understand that, or worse, he does understand and he doesn't care. Zelensky is a leader who is actively defending his country's very right to exist, and this is how Trump and MAGA treat him. You simply cannot go any lower than these people. They have no virtues, no commitment to anything of honor or integrity. It is about giving Trump as much money and power as he can accumulate, regardless of the cost it inflicts. They are dismantling our country piece by piece, including everything it purports to stand for. And how does Trump end this whole debacle?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
This is going to be great television. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. It is a performance. And Trump knows who his audience is. It's a Republican base that is increasingly hostile to the very concept of democracy, and it's a Russian president who he's falling over himself to pander to. Trump doesn't care about democracy or freedom or laws or any other buzzwords that he drones on about. That is window dressing for the GOP. He wants to be part of the autocrat club. He doesn't want to leave office. The only thing standing in the way is our constitutional order that he is working every single day to dismantle and discredit. We warned about the danger to democracy during the 2024 campaign, and Trump is proving those warnings right. If you need a reason to fight back, Trump just gave it to you. He often says that we're not going to have a country anymore, but the reality is that it's him who's trying his level best to manifest that into reality. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.